Hi and welcome to another edition of OnsideSA. I'm getting myself confused with the last one standing because there's two still going, and Budge, we've just had to tweak something for the weekend, haven't we? Let's first start with
the previous competition.
Let's go competition one. There's only a few left.
Yeah.
Budge, does the Carabao Cup come into them for them?
Yes, it does, Paul. They've all been notified. Fortunately for all of them, that they've all used Man City and Tottenham, so it doesn't apply to any of them.
Okay.
It's just the new competition. But I'll send everybody the reminder. But with the clip, if it's a draw at 90 minutes, it's classified as a draw.
Yes.
So if you pick Man City and it's a draw, you go out.
Yeah, so that's basically for the new bunch.
Yes, for the new competition.
All right, let's have a look. Week 10, that's very good.
Paul, boys have done great.
The boys have done really, really good. The guys who went out, and Budge, there's one game still to be played.
Yeah, Leicester play West Brom tonight. So that's crucial in the last competition.
So
also,
at this stage, there's 11 left of 14. That was a good round for everybody.
Well, if you watch the game and the ball got rolled across and Sheffield United should have scored, it got blocked and Wolves went down and scored.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Okay, now let's just look at the guys that are through, and Sean Matthew, that is surname, has got two
picks, yeah.
He's doing well. Nigel Swinbank from the UK, Graham Hawkins, Gavin Wright, Peter Barker, Sean Singleton.
Still hanging in, Sean.
The one I tipped to win it. Grant, the guy you tipped to win it?
Ron Fraser, my captain, yeah.
Rodney van Rensburg, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Des Ferry, and the incumbent, Sean Phillips.
Well, Sean's the reigning champ, so, he's holding the baton, Paul, and going well.
He's going well. Bruce Armstrong's Leicester City.
They play tonight, yeah.
Who they playing?
They play West Brom.
Oh, okay, they should go through. Now, week 3 of the new competition, we're already down to 82.
Yeah, and there's, I think, 11 on tonight, Paul, 11 on Leicester tonight.
And they could drop it to 71?
No, it's 82 have already gone through with 11 entries on tonight. So do you see the 82 and 93?
Okay, got you, right. And the boys that went out went Arsenal, Chelsea, West Ham, and Everton.
Yeah, Everton were unlucky against Spurs, Paul. It wasn't for Harry Kane's class, I think Everton would have cruised home easily, but wasn't to be.
There's two defensive blunders by them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at week 3. And as you say, there's only one through. The Sean Matthew, that surname's pretty good, eh?
Boy, go big or go home. That's his motto. And it doesn't matter how many picks you got, Paul. You pick right, great. You pick wrong, you're gone.
He's still got 5.
He's got 5. He went through 5 on when was Wolves, and he's got 5 on Leicester tonight.
Wow. Greg Pesci, 3. Gary Ferry, 3. Phil Georgia, 3.
Yep.
And Tyrell Matthew.
Yeah, Tyrell, Sean's brother, yeah.
Brother.
Yeah.
And 2 for Greg Petzer, Gavin Wright, Dave Anderson, Dean Grove, Des Ferry, and Paul
Trethaway, yeah. Big mates with Steve Potter, yeah.
Leading ladies. Now, they get a prize this time, don't
they? It's R1,000 Paul voucher from Sector Apparel. That's Gary Green's agency.
Decoy Doug.
So he's already donated one. So ladies are under pressure.
Michelle Tovey, Renee Ruiz, and Dora Roussos.
Dora's on Leicester tonight.
Okay, so there's 3 ladies left as we talk.
Going for the voucher, yeah.
Okay, so, right, let's get our man from overseas. Let's get Stevie B on the line. Stevie, are you about?
I am. Good morning.
Morning. How are you, Steve?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. The weather's starting to turn for the better?
Yeah, no, it's been sunny here.
Yeah, no. What do you mean?
Saying in South Africa, you're near, which is yes, no.
Yeah.
Either yes or
no.
no.
I don't know what you mean, Steve, but I think you mean yeah.
Absolutely.
You said that first. Well, right, but you got a few things to ask
Steve,
about.
obviously the major topic is the the Super League debacle. What do you make of it?
Well, it's hard to know where to start. I mean, look, they have been talking about some form of a European Super League for decades.
Yeah.
But it's just the way it happened with that announcement late on Sunday night to say it was a done deal and it was a fait accompli, and 12 clubs were planning to break away and have signed a contract. And then obviously all hell broke loose over the next 48 hours. I think it took those clubs by surprise with the fact that the whole of the world of football were just shocked by it and have actually stood up to them. But it's essentially dead in the water. But you're listening to even Florentine Perez last night, totally unapologetic as far as he's concerned. Something still has to happen. I think there's just an arrogance and a greed of these clubs that they just feel they have the right to dominate world football and to have more money than they actually have, so they can dominate it even more.
Yeah, I think they ambushed everybody, and it's backfired in their face. Yeah, but
no, absolutely, and what the ramifications are going to be going forward. To stop this happening again. Otherwise, every few years they're going to try and sort of come up against it. So there might need to be some legislation put in place that these clubs know that if they do it, that there could be serious consequences that would actually outweigh any benefits for doing.
Yeah.
So thankfully, the uproar here in the UK was so strong that the English clubs were put under no choice but to pull out.
Yeah, Steve, my belief is Man City and Chelsea were forced into it. Abramovich doesn't need money, and neither does Sheikh Mansour. I think it was Man United, and Liverpool, the two American-owned clubs. I think those were the guys, along with Juventus and Real Madrid.
In England, definitely. And my understanding is that Chelsea, Man City, and even Tottenham only signed up to this a week or so ago. So they've not really been a party to this when this has been going on behind the scenes for a very long time. And as you quite rightly say, the main driver for a lot of the clubs who are involved is that they've got huge debt and they need money, whereas Chelsea, Man City certainly don't need money. That's not what this is. But having said that, they didn't want to be left out of something.
Yeah, you can't blame them.
You can understand why they signed up to it, and Tottenham as well. At the end of the day, Tottenham have got no right to think that they have an automatic place at the top table, but if they're invited, they probably weren't going to say no if they thought that they could miss out otherwise.
Steve, I know we've been going backwards and forwards. My belief, the punishment, all 6 clubs should be banned from UEFA for the next season. I know it's unfair on the players and the fans, but someone's got to make a stand.
Well, I agree. They should, but I don't think it's going to happen. UEFA, no. UEFA, at the end of the day, are a commercial organisation. Although at the end, they do like to make sure that they are seen as being sort of philanthropic towards all the countries and the clubs within Europe. But ultimately,
Steve, it would end up being.
So, my understanding is they probably won't do that, because if they were to ban all 12 clubs, without doubt, it devalues the competition for next season. And, the broadcasters will say, well, actually, we're not going to give you all this money if none of those clubs are taking part. So then
it can never happen.
Everybody.
Steve,
I'm not sure that will be a sanction that will happen.
Steve, at yesterday's game, Spurs, we knew that the Super League was dead in the water. They were protesting outside. Every ground they were protesting, the English supporters now.
Well, I think that's because, there still were protests because they're angry at the way that, say, Tottenham behaved towards them as fans, and to
Steve,
the wider game.
And Steve, getting back to if they decided to take the top 6 out of the British sides out of Europe, you'd have more protests than you've ever had. You'd have litigation like you can't believe. You'd have sponsors pulling out. That can never happen. They were fooled into it. But at least it's to bed.
Look, UEFA and the Premier League need those 6 teams.
Yes,
but they're not. They weren't going to. Thankfully, they didn't capitulate and say, "Okay, we can't stop you doing this. Just go off and do it." So they have made a stand, but I think they have to think long and hard about how they actually. Because at the end of the day, the clubs themselves, the people. It's only the owners and maybe the chief executives, the ones who are involved in this. The fans, the players, the managers, the majority of the people at the clubs had no idea it was even happening. So, the punishment has to fit the crime. So who do you punish?
Yeah. Steve, talking about that, let's just talk about Jose Mourinho sacking. And before we talk about it, I got an email sent to me from a friend of one of the agents. And there was a big dispute between Levy and Mourinho, not with the Super League, everyone seemed to jump at that, about team selection. And he said, you've got to play a strong side to beat Southampton. And he said, no, listen, let's keep our strong side for Sunday in the final. And he said, no, he said, it's much more important, the top 4, than winning the trophy. And he said, well, that's why I was brought here. It looks like you don't need a manager. And that's where it stemmed from, I believe.
Well, that's quite plausible. There's no question that there was, if you watched Mourinho's body language at Everton, he was sat slumped in his chair, that isn't the Jose Mourinho that we're used to seeing. Obviously, losing Harry Kane, I think, was a huge blow, for Tottenham. But there's an argument. So you're right. I mean, Tottenham fans want to win a trophy. They haven't won a trophy since 2008.
Yeah.
It's all very well finishing fourth in the Champions League, and what does that get you? It gets you a bit of money, but ultimately, fans want a day out at Wembley, and they want to win a trophy, and that's something that they can. Players. Harry Kane hasn't won anything. Does he want to end his career without any silverware? So I can understand that, but there is no question that something. Plus, I understand that.
It was a fallout, Levy and him.
Something I've heard is that obviously he's fallen out with Dele Alli. He's not playing him. He's not playing Gareth Bale as a starter most weeks. When obviously
Rose is back in the squad.
Bringing him back was obviously a big coup. But as far as Jose Mourinho was concerned, fine. But just because he was a big name at Real Madrid and at Tottenham previously, doesn't mean he has an automatic right to start. So, it's the timing and the fact that it was announced the day after the Super League was announced is almost, as they say, you bury bad news when there's other bad news.
Steve, I think they had to fire him because there's definitely trouble in the camp. The players weren't responding to him. And I agree, why not take a chance? I don't think they could have beat Man City with him in charge anyway. At least,
anyone in charge.
I think they've got more of a chance now. At least the players can be held responsible if they don't win. You can't keep blaming the manager. He's never played. But there was trouble in the camp. And I think it's the first time I think Spurs have won a second half this season.
Yeah, it's the first time. But Southampton, having said that, they fall away every game. Every game, Southampton, they run their hearts out. They slaughtered us. But anyway, we've got a lot to get through.
Yeah.
Let's
Steve,
move on.
you think Tottenham can upset Man City on the weekend?
Look, I mean, if they watch the way that Chelsea beat them, I mean, City were a little bit toothless against Chelsea. Chelsea just packed, broke away when they could and packed the defence. City without Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously, John Stones is now suspended, having got sent off. You'd think City are favourites, but, I was surprised that Chelsea beat them. So, anything could happen. I mean, Tottenham have got nothing to lose. They've got to go for it, but, cautiously.
Yeah, I agree. Steve, Tuesday night, Chelsea-Brighton. After beating Man City on the weekend, I thought Chelsea were very poor.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes you wonder. We had the same thing about Liverpool, whether everything that was going on was a bit of a distraction for teams that were involved in the breakaway, and they were very flat. Chelsea, very disappointing. Brighton, obviously, fighting for their lives, and were probably unlucky not to have scored themselves early on. So it was a disappointing result. I think they had a real opportunity to cement that fourth place, and that obviously they go again to try and do the same at the weekend.
Yeah, Steve, Man City squeaked past Aston Villa. I watched a bit. Once the guy got sent off, turned the TV off.
If switched on after 30 seconds, you'd miss a goal.
Yeah.
They dominated, and even when John Stones was sent off, they were fortunate in a way that obviously Matty Cash got sent off 13 minutes later.
Stupid.
But City, Villa, have got nothing to lose, but they played as if they were just happy only to be 2-1 down. City were, had like 70% possession. Dominated the game, scored a couple of good goals, and apart from losing Stones, I don't think they had any other injuries which Pep would have been concerned about.
Yeah, big game. I think they got their eyes on the Champions League. Anyway, Steve, back to the Premiership. The big game on the weekend: West Ham against Chelsea. 4th against 5th. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, West Ham don't have a bad record against Chelsea. It's not somewhere Chelsea enjoy going to. I'm surprised that they've got Chelsea as such firm favourites because, this is a big game for West Ham. They can't afford to lose it because then they can fall adrift. Obviously, with Chelsea and with Liverpool chasing, a win, keep them in 4th place. So I'd be surprised if Chelsea win that. I think, again, Chelsea have got huge game coming up in the Champions League. They're going to have one. They've got to have one eye on that. So I think West Ham have got nothing to. They've got to go for it, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get a result or it's a draw. But I just can't see them losing West Ham.
All right, Steve, Brighton get a result. I think that's sell them the relegation battle. Do you see them beating Sheffield United?
Yeah, they should do. I mean, I think they probably looking at the league table and thinking, a win at Sheffield United, and that's going to put them in a much more comfortable position with the way, Fulham, West Brom are. So, Sheffield United, they've got nothing left to play for apart from pride. You know, you'd like to see them raise their game and go out fighting.
Yeah.
But Brighton are just, you know, they don't give much away at the back. And if they score first, I think Sheffield United's heads will go down. So I'd be surprised if it's anything other than a narrow Brighton win.
Okay, well, that'll keep the last one standing hopefuls alive. On to Sunday, Wolves hosting Burnley. I hear Nick Pope is back. Does that give Burnley more of a chance?
Yeah, I mean, look, they didn't play that badly at United. I thought, they were, going into the last 10 minutes, they were probably very happy with their performance and hanging on. And Wolves, missing one or two, as we know, like if Neto's still out. Again, Burnley are in that position. They're in a dangerous position. They can't afford to lose that. Yet a win for them, hikes them up the table. So I think it's going to be close. I think, again, very, very low-scoring game. I would be, I think you could actually call any result there, but I think, if anything, it's more likely to be a draw.
Okay, now the game where it cannot end 0-0, Leeds Man United. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be 0-0. I thought Leeds, first half against Liverpool should have been home and away. I mean, they should have been clear. Second half, Leeds played very well and probably deserved their point. United have got to, want to sit on City's coattails. They want to nail that second place. They've got a European game coming up, and I think they want to keep this away record going as best they can. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there are. I certainly expect there to be goals. I think they're going to get sort of something upwards of about 4 goals there. And I just think Leeds can be cavalier, and United, with the quality they've got, Rashford and Greenwood, I think United might edge it, but I think it could be an exciting game.
Yeah, I agree. It should be a thriller. And last but not least, Aston Villa and the Birmingham derby against West Brom.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close. I mean, look, West Brom played tonight. So, they're only 3 points behind Fulham with 2 games in hand. West Brom get a result tonight or at Villa, and all of a sudden they're the ones chasing the pack, not us. So I think I think it's going to depend. If West Brom get even a point tonight, they'll be buoyed up. I think they're capable of getting a point at Villa, definitely. Villa are in that sort of mid-table position. They can't really go much higher than they are. They're not going to get into Europe. They're not going to go down. They've got nothing much to play for, but you hope that they'll raise their game. So I fancy a draw there.
Okay. Steve, one of the Championship, Norwich were promoted last weekend. Yeah. They came up, And I was going to make Watford good things, but if Bournemouth beat Brentford or Brentford don't win, that's Watford automatically promoted. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is this weekend, but because Bournemouth themselves are in a good. I think Watford are virtually there. They got 1 foot in the division. Yeah. Bournemouth are the team for me. Have just they were a few points adrift of a playoff place, and now they're sitting in third. Yeah. I like Bournemouth. I think that they're quality players are just coming to the fore, and for me, at this moment in time, I think they're playoff favourites.
Yeah.
So I think this Bournemouth against Brentford is a dress rehearsal for a playoff game or the final, and I fancy Bournemouth.
Okay, Blackburn, Huddersfield.
Yeah, I think Huddersfield very inconsistent. I mean, they lose 7-0 away and then go and win away. I think Blackburn might just be a little bit too strong for them.
Yeah, I know Huddersfield cost me last night my both teams to score better. They got beat 1-0 by Barnsley. I thought they'd at least score. Now Middlesbrough, Sheffield Wednesday. You fancied Sheffield Wednesday last week. You see them causing an upset?
Well, basically Sheffield Wednesday have to win. If they don't win, they're virtually down. Because they've only got 3 games left and they're several points adrift. Middlesbrough are a little bit fortunate last night. They were 1-0 down to Rotherham. Rotherham had a player sent off in 18 minutes. And then Middlesbrough came back on 1-2-1, which maybe flattered them a little bit. I think this will be a good game. Sheffield Wednesday have got to go for it. Anything other than a win, I think they'll be relegated by next week. So I fancy Sheffield Wednesday to go there and get a result.
Okay, I know I backed them in midweek when they squeaked past Blackburn. Derby County, Wayne Rooney in serious trouble. I think he can get out of it this week against Birmingham. Well, how do you see it?
Well, I think they were a little bit fortunate that Rotherham lost last night. Yeah. Rotherham were winning until the sending off, and they could have been literally a point behind Derby with 2 in hand. Derby can't afford to lose this because, again, Rotherham, as I say, 4 points behind with 2 in hand. Birmingham were unlucky. They were winning comfortably until the 98th minute against Forest, and Forest got a last kick penalty. I think they'll be close. Birmingham away from home are harder to beat. Derby got to go for it, but they can't afford to lose. Again, I think that's going to be close. Derby could edge it, but otherwise I can see Birmingham maybe holding them to a draw.
All right, Steve. Pressure time of game. I think I know your best bet's going to be. Please let the audience know.
No, well, actually, I'm going to go for Blackburn Rovers. I think
Okay.
they're a little bit. I think they'll be too strong for Huddersfield. And my value bet is an interesting one because I can't see why West Ham are so far out against Chelsea. So it's either toss up between them or QPR against Norwich, because I think Norwich have just they've been partying since they went up. They've been completely outplayed the last two games.
What's your value bet,
So
Steve?
I might go for West Ham.
West Ham, eh? All right, Steve.
West Ham, eh?
West Ham to cause the upset. Steve,
All right, fantastic.
last one standing. You know, you're holding the hopes of the entire United
UK.
Kingdom.
Great Britain.
So get
I'm
studying.
I'm plumping. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to plump for Liverpool that their front three will fire and just do enough. Liverpool have got to win.
Yeah,
You know, this is getting to last chance saloon for getting to that fourth spot. So I think Liverpool will go for it, and I think they should win.
All right, Stevie. Thanks very much as
Good
usual.
luck, Steve. Thank you very much, Steve. Speak
Pleasure.
to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Right. Right, let's go on, Budge, and talk
Yep.
about the Premiership fixtures. They should come up on the screen, but the one I've got in front of me is Arsenal against...
Yeah, Friday night, Paul. You know, I just can't believe the betting here. You know, Arsenal have got a Europa League semi-final on Thursday. They have to rest a few key players. Everton, Paul, should have beat Spurs. I think Everton can cause an upset, Paul. The betting to me is way wrong. I saw 9-10 win and draw Everton, and I'm going to have a few rand. Paul, both teams to score 9.5 to 10. That has to be the play in that particular game, you know. But
Yeah.
I can't believe Everton are that price, Paul. They're my best each way, a value bet of the weekend.
So Liverpool he's gone for. They're 1-4.
Paul, you know, Newcastle, you just never know. Yeah, Liverpool are going to give someone a hiding. The problem is they keep missing chances. But
Yeah.
anything
They
against
should
it's lunchtime kickoff. The last 3 lunchtime kickoffs have all been upsets. So that's the only thing against it. But Liverpool got to win, Paul. They don't get top 4. Yeah, they'll be looking for their own Super League. But they've got to win here.
Are West Ham at big odds here?
I agree. You know, it just depends if Mikel Antonio's back.
Yeah.
You know, if he's back, Paul, you know, Chelsea, they don't give much away, but going forward, they don't impress me, Paul. There's 3 centre-halves and 2 wing-backs and 2, but, you know, they got a big game against Real Madrid in midweek. What's he going to do? But of the 2 teams...
You mean after this?
Yeah, they play, This is Saturday, so I think it's Tuesday. I don't see Chelsea getting beat, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, West Ham are defensively... Yeah, they're not too good
They
for
get
me.
goals
but,
early, then they
score.
concede, yeah.
You know, Chelsea don't give much away, Paul, so a tight game for me.
Would you take the Brighton?
It should be, Paul. The only thing with Brighton, they don't score too often. Yeah, they
No.
outplay everybody, but they
Yeah.
don't score. But if they can't beat Sheffield United...
But Percy Tau not getting a look in at the
Nah,
moment.
Paul. No.
Couldn't score
Sadly.
either. Sadly
Also
couldn't
not
score.
a genuine goal scorer. He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
They need a goal scorer.
All right, let's go on. Wolves.
Paul, you know, it all depends. You know, Burnley got to get a result. I think this has got draw written all over it. I'm going to have a few rand on Burnley to be the first goal scorer. Wolves always come out the block slow.
Yeah.
Burnley the complete opposite. 12 o'clock kickoff in England. You know, Wolves should have murdered Sheffield United, Paul. They only scored 1. They only had a few chances. I'm not impressed with them at the moment. Obviously, they have a few injuries. That was my other upset of the weekend, Paul, but I think it's a draw written all over it.
Man United 8-10.
Paul, you know, Leeds are great to watch.
Oh, they're great to watch. I
You
love
know,
watching
they
them.
just keep going and going.
They go at a pace.
Paul,
eh?
over 2.5 goals is 6-10. I think that's the right. I'd rather take that than 8-10 Man United. And
Okay.
over 3.5 goals is 13, 14-10. So for the neutrals, you've got to take the over 2.5 goals.
You've got to take
Paul.
over 2.5,
You know, I wouldn't take 8-10, even though I think United can win. But Leeds don't stop trying, Paul. We saw it against Liverpool. They should have won the game.
At the death, yeah. Aston Villa, are they odds on
Well, I
shots?
wasn't impressed with them last night. You know, Man City obviously a quality side, but 1-0 up, player red carded. Something's missing in that Aston Villa. It's obviously Jack Grealish. Paul, depending on how West Brom go tonight, but we know local derbies. You know, I think Aston Villa should win, but there's got to be goals in that game.
Leicester, that's the second game
It
back for
should be,
them.
Paul. You know, they third and three. Don't worry about the cup final. They got to get top 4. They get a result tonight against Brighton and beat Crystal Palace.
They're looking good.
They're looking strong, Paul. I wouldn't take 4-10, but you've got to think they should win.
Okay, and then you got the cup match.
Paul, I'm hoping Spurs. I was happy with what I saw in the second half.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be easy.
It's got it all to do.
You know, but, you know, Man City outplay everybody, but they haven't got a number 9.
Yeah.
I mean, you're expecting Phil Foden and these guys to keep joining in Gundogan. Spurs have a chance. If Harry Kane's fit, which I think he will be.
They arrested him last night.
Yeah, you got it, Paul. You just hope Spurs can keep the ball.
Okay, Budge, that's interesting. I hope Spurs can keep the ball.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Championship. Just to run through Tuesday's result, Brentford won, Cardiff won.
Yeah.
Norwich lost to Watford.
Yeah.
But Norwich are through.
Well, I watched it. You know, Norwich were promoted, so they were playing. Watford were trying for their lives. Norwich were cruising. But a physical game, but...
Looks like they'll be the two automatics.
Automatic, yeah, should be.
Preston, your boys had a good win over Rooney's Derby County.
3-0, yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday, a good win over Blackburn.
Blackpool, yeah.
And then Swansea City lost to QPR. QPR didn't right.
I'm right, they're 8th, Paul, but too far out the playoffs.
Right, these are scores from Wednesday, Budge. Millwall 1, Bournemouth 4.
Yeah,
That's
they were 3-0 up
thumping.
at half-time, then 3-1, 4-1, yeah.
Rotherham had the man sent
Man
off.
sent off early, they got beat by
them
Middlesbrough.
2-1, yeah. Stoke City lost again, this time to Coventry.
Coventry have done well, Paul. I watched them play the other night. They beat Rotherham 1-0. He's got them right, Mark Robbins.
Okay, Wickham beat Bristol City.
That was an upset, yeah. Wickham were bottom.
Birmingham drew with Forest.
Yeah, Forest scored late.
Huddersfield lost at home to Barnsley.
Yeah.
And Luton and Reading. Are Reading going to be in the playoffs?
No, just outside.
Just outside, looks that way. Okay, just to quickly look at the standings, Budge. Norwich 90 points, 85 Watford, 77 Bournemouth, 76 Swansea, 75 Brentford, 74 Barnsley, 68 Reading, yeah.
So it looks
How many games left? About 3 or
they
so?
play 46, Paul, so there's only a couple left.
Okie dokie. Right, let's go to this week's games, Budge.
Yeah, Paul, I think Bournemouth, they're not best bet. They've won 7 in the spin. Brentford are struggling. They've won 2, drawn 5 of the last 7. They were on the other night, Paul. Whether they're preparing for the playoffs,
They've sold a lot of players.
Yeah, you know, Ollie Watkins and Ben Rami. You can't do that and expect to come up, in my opinion. I'm all over Bournemouth, Paul. 14-10 is my best bet, especially
Barnsley,
at the prices.
Rotherham?
Should be Barnsley, Paul. Rotherham are struggling, but they'll have a go. You know, Barnsley are 6, hanging in there for dear life. They won last night at Huddersfield. 7-10, Paul. Bit short, but they should win.
Blackburn should win?
Yeah, I'm not as confident as Steve. The only reason being is that Blackburn have only won 1 of the last 11 games.
Wow.
You know, Huddersfield are just one of those Jekyll and Hyde teams. I go for them to score, they don't. I go against them. Yeah, they always upset me. But it should be Blackburn, Paul. I think there'll be goals, but I wouldn't be taking 9-10.
Cardiff, Wickham?
Yeah, likewise Cardiff, Paul. They've only won 1 of the last 9 games. But Wickham are struggling. They tailed off, but they've won 3 of the last 6. They won last night. They've got nothing to lose. They're a dinkum panel-beating team, Paul. I've watched them play. Get the ball forward as quickly as possible. Cardiff, coming to the end of the season, Paul, you just never know those particular games. I wouldn't be taking 5-10 Cardiff, that's for sure.
All right. Your boys are away at
Paul,
Coventry.
you know, Coventry have come right. You know, I think they've won the last 3 of the last 4 at home. Preston, funny side, Paul. Beat Derby 3-0. We're good against the bad teams, but Paul, a draw for me in that particular game.
Can Derby win?
I hope so, Paul. You know, the teams that they've lost at home, they've been decent teams. Norwich beat them 1-0 at home, and Millwall when they were going well. But they're hard to beat at home, Paul. Birmingham City, that's Lee Boyer's team. They've shown a bit of fight. If Wayne Rooney wants to get out of it and save his job, he's got to get a result. Paul, I've taken 15-10.
Okay, Middlesbrough, Sheffield
I
Wednesday.
agree with Steve. You know, I backed Sheffield Wednesday in midweek when they beat Blackburn. Middlesbrough, last night, Wickham 2-1 away with 10 men. Sheffield Wednesday, desperate team, Paul. They've got to get a result. You know, desperate teams don't stop trying. I wouldn't be taking 11-10 Middlesbrough.
What have Forest and Stoke City got to play for?
Well, just personal pride, Paul. I don't know how much money there is between certain places in the championship. But, you know, Stoke City, I thought they'd be in promotion contention, Paul, but they don't score enough goals.
Yeah.
But draw for me there.
Okay, any more? Here we go.
Yeah, Paul, watching Norwich already up. You know, QPR was going to another value bet 3-1. You know, they've come right. They've won 4 of the last 6. They've got everything to play for. Norwich are still celebrating.
They're a good side, though.
Yeah, good side, Paul. But I watched them against Watford. They were going through the motions, Paul. They're already up. So that's the only thing in QPR's favour. But Norwich have a full
you think he'll throw in youngsters?
Has to, Paul. Because what you want to try and do is get your younger players a league medal.
Of course.
So,
Okay,
that's the only thing against.
Watford win here, they're just about safe.
Well, if they win, they're up. The thing is, if Brentford don't win, they may be up anyway.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful of that early kickoff, because if Watford go up, you want to play when you're automatically promoted. So that's the 5 to 10 is a little bit hedgy on that particular game, and Millwall will give them a go, Paul.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the only thing. If they need a point to go up, they won't get beat. But if they're already promoted, anything's possible.
Reading Swansea?
Paul, on Sunday, both teams just fallen away. I don't see Swansea getting beat. Away from home, Paul, they're well organised, so I don't see them losing.
And Bristol and Luton are just about the same
Paul.
price.
Yeah, of the two teams, you've got to go for Luton. Bristol City's last 8 games at home, they've got 1 point. That's Nigel Pearson. He came and turned it around. He can't stay. But, of the two teams, Luton Town, Paul, but difficult game.
All right, let's go PSL, Budge. Let's go see it. Let's quickly go through the results. Tuesday, Chipper lost 1-0 to Baroka. Classic game that they can't afford. Bloom Celtic drew with Swallows. How many games have Swallows drawn?
Paul, 9 of the last 11.
Wednesday, Amazulu Sundowns.
Good game,
draw.
Paul.
Amazulu could have won it.
Yeah.
I watched the highlights. Kaiser Chiefs should never have got beat. Never have got beat.
Just going against them, Paul. And it's not
Deflections
going.
not going against them. Supersport.
Arrows beat them 1-0. Going well, Arrows.
And Leopards and Stellenbosch, no score. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games played. 3, 6, 7 goals. That's all.
Yeah, and how many of them were deflections?
Yeah. So that's not the greatest. But the standings are like this. But Sundown, home draw.
Yeah, home and dry,
Home and draw. Golden Arrows second on 41 points. 41 points, Amazulu, tie with them, same amount of games. Pirates 38 with a game in hand, could go alongside them.
Yeah.
Swallows 37 of 22, could go to 40. At the bottom of the log, Witbank, it's Black Leopards. Black Leopards 14 points.
Can't score goals, Paul.
Chipper 17, TTM 19, and Maritzburg 20. Maritzburg going to get away with it.
Yeah, and TTM played
Only
Chipper
played
in the
21.
final of the Nedbank Cup. Can you believe it?
Who's going down?
It's Black Leopards, Paul. Can't score, you can't win.
All right, let's look at the fixtures this week.
Some good games this week, Paul. Paul, I like Maritzburg. I watched Baroka in the game. They did play well, but there have a lot of games lately. And Maritzburg at home don't get beat too often. They won 2 of the last 3. It's hard really to take 12 to 10 a team that's struggling, Paul, but I like Maritzburg of the 2 teams. Black Leopards, Supersport. Supersport haven't won. I don't think it's 7 goals now. I don't know what's happened with Bradley Krobler. I didn't check whether he played yesterday. But Black Leopards, they just can't score goals, Paul. So to me, the draw looks a certainty in that particular game. Stellenbosch, Bloom Celtic. I like Bloom Celtic. They played Arrows here last week. I watched it. They've got some good young players. Their record away from home isn't the greatest, but they've drawn 3 of the last 4. Stellenbosch, Steve Barker's team, Paul, they just keep giving silly goals away.
Yeah.
But of the 2 teams, 14 to 10, the draw gives the almost the result away. But of the 2 teams, I like Bloom Celtic. Amazulu,
I like them.
got to take the 12 to 10, Paul. TS Galaxy's the old Highlands power, that Owen De Gama. His team's very direct. So the draws are playing well. Going well.
Who's that, Benny?
Benny McCarthy, unbeaten in 13, I think it is.
Yeah, I like Amazulu. Here, Maritzburg,
second page, Paul, should be Cape Town City, but likewise they score goals, but they just concede. Yeah. TTM was struggling, Paul, so they'll take the point. I like Pirates to beat Swallows, Paul. There's nothing like watching a team. It's so park the bus, Mourinho mentality, look to catch teams on the break. Pirates, the only bad result lately is when they lost 4-1 to Sundowns. Paul, I think Orlando Pirates are the best bet at a decent price anyway in the PSL. Chipper, Golden Arrows, I'm all over Golden Arrows, but the draw's a big player. Chipper can't score, and Golden Arrows keep it tight, look to catch you on the break.
Won't Sundowns Chiefs be a tight game?
No, I think Sundowns will destroy them, Paul. They're a good team. Chiefs have got to go for it. I think they're 9th or 10th. I think Sundowns will just a good team, Paul. They've got a lot of good players, Sundowns.
Okie doke. Give me your idea of these.
Yeah, the Gold Circle Soccer 6, Paul. I'm bankering Liverpool to beat Newcastle. I've gone the draw, Bournemouth against Brentford. I think QPR, Norwich, I'm going 1, 2, 3. I'm bankering Watford to beat Millwall. I'm going the field in the West Ham Chelsea game. And I've thrown the draw and looking for an upset. Brighton and a draw against Sheffield United.
2-1-6.
Yep. On to the second one, the PSL one. I'm going Supersport United win and draw at Black Leopards. I don't see Bloom Celtic losing at Stellenbosch. I've thrown the draw in with Amazulu at home against TX Galaxy. I'm going Cape Town City, win and draw at home against Shakuma Matsi. I'm banking Pirates to beat Morocco Swallows. And I'm going Chelsea, win and draw at West Ham, 192.
Okey-doke.
On
Next
to
one.
our Gold Circle Soccer 10. I'm banking Liverpool to beat Newcastle. Because it's an early kick-off and I had a few things I could use. I went the field in the Bournemouth-Brentford game. I'm banking Bayern Munich to beat Mainz. I'm going the field in the Wolfsburg-Borussia Dortmund game. I'm going the field likewise in the Queen's Park Rangers-Norwich City match. To a second page, I'm banking Watford to beat Millwall. Paris Saint-Germain to win at Metz. I'm going Chelsea win and draw at West Ham United. I'm going Brighton to win at Sheffield United. And I've thrown the draw in. Real Madrid against Real Betis.
It's getting tough, Spanish League.
Yeah, they won last night, Real Madrid. They joined
3-0, yeah, they're up there. And
Barca
then
are going well too.
Barca are going well. Who's the team in third?
No, Barca are third. The team in fourth is Seville.
Oh, when I looked at it today, it was the other way around.
No,
So Seville,
Seville
guy scored a great goal for them last night. They're fair
come right,
side.
Seville.
Right, give me your ideas
Yeah,
here.
Soccer
Butch.
13, Paul, that came out last night. Chelsea win and draw at West Ham. I've banked Brighton to win at Sheffield United. I'm going for Blackburn Rovers to be too good at home for Huddersfield Town. I'm going Coventry City, win and draw at home against my Preston North End boys. I'm banking Derby to beat Birmingham. I'm going Stoke City, win and draw at Notts Forest. I'm going Watford to win at home against Millwall. Onto the second page, I'm going Middlesbrough, win and draw at home against Sheffield Wednesday. I'm banking Barnsley to beat Rotherham. Cardiff to beat Wickham. I'm chancing QPR to avoid defeat at home against promoted Norwich City. And ending with Charlton Athletic, win and draw at home against Peterborough. And Hull City, win and draw at Lincoln City, 256.
All right, now here we go. Budge, give me your
Paul,
treble.
Budgie's bets, Paul. I think the Burnley-Wolves game could have 0-0 written all over it. So I've gone Burnley, win and draw at Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm going Aston Villa to beat West Brom and both teams to score. I think it'll be a goal fest. And I could have gone over 2.5 goals, Paul, and got 11-1, but I went greedy. I went 16-1. So I'm going over 3.5 goals, Leeds and Man United.
Everest will be the death of you. Should have taken the 6.5.
Well, I can always cover up.
Okay, your quad.
Onto the championship here. I've gone Bournemouth to beat Brentford. I think Derby will escape relegation by beating Birmingham. And I'm going Sheffield Wednesday against Middlesbrough and Swansea against Reading to win or draw.
Okay, team goals only.
Team goals, yeah. I'm going Everton and Burnley just to score.
Yes.
And Aston Villa, Man United and Blackburn Rovers, all to score over 1.5 goals. Worked out at 14-1, so 2,800 to 200 was a bet.
Both teams to score.
Yep, I'm going Arsenal, Everton, Leeds, Man United, Man City, Tottenham, Barnsley, Rotherham, and QPR, Norwich, 3,400 to 200.
Your PSL?
PSZ treble, yeah. I'm going Orlando Pirates to beat Morocco Swallows. I'm going over 2.5 goals in the Stellenbosch Bloem Celtic game. And I'm going Mamelodi Sundowns to beat Kaizer Chiefs and over 2.5 total goals. Worked that bet with, I think I saw 2-1. So 3,000 to 200 was our bet. And our Collis King 6 on extra. I'm going Liverpool to beat Newcastle. I'm chancing Derby to beat Birmingham. Barcelona to beat Villarreal. Bayern Munich to beat Mainz. Inter Milan to beat Hellas Verona. And Mamelodi Sundowns to beat Kaizer Chiefs. 2,600 to 200.
I like some of your bets there, Budge. That's
Okay,
skepticism
right,
from me. Yeah, no, very, very good. So, Budge, that's it. We've gone through everything. We've touched on the Super League. We've touched on last one standing, which is very interesting. Just to recap, when does it start this weekend?
Well, this round starts on Friday night. Arsenal against Everton. So 8 o'clock, I need everybody's picks. But everybody be informed.
Okay.
So no excuses.
All right. Until next time, stay on side.